We're live. This is your host of the Bully Round Table, Lawrence EBK Conway, and we have my co-host
Tony Gold from Wayne Gold Kennels, coming at you live and direct.
As always, we got my man Damien on the text, and tonight the Bully Doc joining us once again. Just give us a second to do a little promoting, and then we will be back with you. Damien, we are live, correct? My man. All right, let me go over here and grab this link. If you got anything over there in the works, Damien, you can go ahead and get started while I promote if you want.
Yeah, we have our first question. They want to know, well, basically, they've heard that heartworm medication can cause toxic buildup, so they want to kind of get you guys' perspective on that. And is that true or not?
Go ahead, Doc. Hello?
Ask them if they're talking about the prescription stuff that you get from your veterinarian or giving ivermectin yourself.
Guys, I got to step outside and get my order of raw from Top Notch Raw, so y'all handle this for like 5 minutes.
Nice.
It's the over-the-counter medication that veterinarians do.
Okay. There's not, I mean, it's made to give every month for the rest of the dog's life. There's no toxic buildup that I'm aware of, that they haven't done any studies on that or found that to be true.
What about ivermectin, the other one? Is there any association with that one?
I don't know that there's toxic buildup, but most people give way too much of it because the whole 0.1 cc per 10 pounds is like 10 to 20 times what the actual dose is needed to prevent heartworms.
Yeah, that's if you're giving it every month. But if you're using it for a worm or as for roundworms and for whip, right?
It's not. It's not.
Get over here. Now, let's go.
Whoa. What, Corey? What were you saying?
Ivermectin is not a very good dewormer for your intestinal parasites because you have to give a really, really high amount, and then it can be toxic because it's not made to give in that high of an amount. We even have to be careful when we're giving it for Demodex because there's some dogs that can't handle the actual highest end of the Demodex dosage. So to give it to deworm for intestinal parasites is it's kind of counterproductive when there's other safer, better medications out there.
Yeah, I think people use ivermectin because it's cheap. I alternate. I've always had great luck with it.
Yeah.
I know breeders that have been breeding for over 30 years that have used ivermectin ever since, and their dogs live to 12, 14, 15 years old, and they do every month on ivermectin. So,
well, you should. I mean, that's how it's made to be given, but for heartworms, it's not really made to. I mean, that's why when you buy HeartGuard, they add Pyrantel to it because they know that ivermectin is not a very good dewormer for hooks and rounds. So
yeah.
They add the Pyrantel to give it that extra boost.
Okay, going to the next question. Why does it seem prevalent for bullies' eyes to run? Is there an eye allergy or something like that that I should be aware of?
I don't know that they have a prevalence for that, but they do have a lot of like eyelid problems like entropion and ectropion. And if they do have allergies, that makes them run too. So it just depends on the conformation of the dog. The ones that have the like bulging eyes, sometimes that causes like a functional closure of the nasolacrimal duct. So instead of draining down through the nose and out like it's supposed to, it'll actually drain down the face because it can't drain down that hole. So the bulgy-eyed dogs, that's why they have a lot of eye drainage that goes down the face.
And isn't it true that, you know, dogs that have a lot of that drainage is also associated with food and pH, the pH levels in their body? Corey, or no?
And that's why, like, you mean the staining? Are you talking about the staining? Yeah. It can, and I think that's, like, sometimes we'll give, they have some of those supplements for tear stains. It changes something to do with the saliva and the pH of the tears that prevents it from doing that brownish stain down the face.
I know some of the antibiotics that they use, or I'm sorry, some of the drops that they use for that, I think have antibiotics in them.
Probably.
I've had pretty good success with apple cider vinegar, adding it to their water.
Yeah.
Person taught me a long time ago. It balances out the pH in the dog, and it's amazing if you keep your dog on it for a month or two, how quickly it clears up.
If you don't have guys, I'm back. Real quick, just give a shout out.
That's great. He's back. You can go back to getting your dog food. I'm talking to you.
I got to give a shout out to the plug.
Tony, I totally agree with what you said a minute ago. Yeah, oh, put your plug out there. Go ahead. Get that dog food back on screen.
Wow.
Just got my delivery from Top Notch Raw. This is the way it comes packaged. It's from Andy Moore. You can hit him up on Facebook. He delivers straight to the door.
There you go.
Nice.
Wow. There you go.
We don't just talk about it. We do this for real.
But, you know, me and Tony, we've talked about stuff a lot. You go back to old school and all the tricks and stuff like that. My whole opinion on that is you got to be careful when you're talking to new breeders and new growers and new people, because they want to take partial information and run with it. You know.
True.
And that's what we got to really think about when we're putting this information out to the public. Is it's not me and you, Tony, talking anymore. It's not me and Corey talking. It's not me and you and 5 other people that have been doing this for a long time that can understand it. Some of these people just bought their pit bull or their bully yesterday, you know.
Right.
So we've got to be careful when we talk about how we do these things, because they hear bits and pieces, or we verbalize bits and pieces, and they run with it. So
Right.
I think we've got to be careful when we start talking about how to medicate animals. Well, you know what? I heard Justin and Tony Gold say we give this, that, and the other. Well, that's great, but they only heard part of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's very important, that we don't allow them to take misinformation from us and grow upon that, because they can think they're doing everything that we said and then be harmful with that for their animals.
Well, yeah. Well, it's crazy. You know, that's why I go on a lot of posts and correct people, because you have so many people giving advice on how to worm their dogs and do this and that, and they're giving completely the wrong information. It's crazy, and it's not one person. You'll have 10 people on the same post giving the completely wrong information, and they're all doing the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they don't even know. They just get clueless quick, fast, in a hurry. I mean, well, wait a minute. I'm confused. I talked to somebody on a chat room yesterday, and I just went and spent $90 on Safeguard to deworm all my dogs. Or I went and bought a bottle of ivermectin injectable, and I just injected all my dogs, and I don't know why they're all at the vet right now. Well, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You got a little bit of piece of information that maybe that I gave you, or Dr. Key gave you, or Tony gave you, or somebody like that. But we can misinform these people, not meaning to. So I think we really need to be careful about how we use this verbiage. If we do something at the house, we really have to explain how that we do it and how we do it properly. That's my point. And you can back up 30 years ago to my grandfather doing things that did a lot of things wonderfully, but am I the right person to explain to now not 2 people, but 60 people on how to do that are listening to me over the airwaves? No, because probably half of those people aren't going to listen to me properly and do it the way that it should have been done to begin with.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure
All right,
does.
Damien, what's the next question?
Y'all ready for the next question?
Yeah.
Okay, next question is, do you guys prefer AIs or natural breeding, and why?
Um,
Go ahead, Tom.
um, I prefer natural, but unfortunately, in this breed, most of the time you're doing AIs. The thing about AIs is pretty quick, takes less time. It could be a pain, but it's pretty quick. Natural seems to be more successful most of the time, but the shorter the dogs and stuff, and when you're dealing with dogs that vary and in height a little bit, the female might be a little bit taller than the male. It gets tough sometimes. So AI just seems to be the best option. I do AIs now most of the time, but I still do naturals here and there.
Um, yeah, I do a lot of AIs. Like he said, it's quicker, a lot quicker, a lot less messy. Sometimes the males are shorter. Also, I find that for the natural ties, I have to let my males go through the whole cycle with the females where they have to lose weight because the heavier males with all that belly weight, they can't get up inside them. So, I do them for that. Also, outside my yard, I don't do any natural ties at all anyway, just to protect my male.
True. Good point.
Um,
Yep, I don't either.
uh, that,
Well, I'm a veterinarian, so obviously I prefer AIs. But aside from that, I think it's cleaner. I think it's got a higher success rate if you do it properly. But
I agree.
Well, I mean that's true. I mean, if you do it properly and you do a progesterone test and all that, but I mean, how many of us, when you're doing a breeding inside your own yard, breeders really not gonna go through that most of the time. Um, outside the yard, that's a different thing.
we have a lot of people. That have the male and the female there, and I'm not even talking about just bullies, but they'll do all the progesterone testing and then bring them in and have a surgical done, which boggles my mind sometimes because I'm like, you have the male and the female right
That's
there. Why
crazy.
are you the whole? Yeah, it is kind of crazy. I mean, unless there's the thing about surgicals and transcervical inseminations is that they found that it does not increase your chances of conception unless your female is or your male are subfertile. If you've proven that there's a low sperm motility or count or whatever, or you have a female with a problem, yes, then it's going to. But it doesn't necessarily do that if you have, if everything else is considered equal and the male and the female are right there. If you're doing frozen, yes, of course you're going to do either a TCI or a surgical, but other than that, unless you know that there's a problem, there's may not be, and here I'm probably, causing us business or something. But
Yeah.
it
that
may
that's
not
interesting
be
that that's interesting that you said that because I know of somebody who did a surgical with a dog that their sperm count was in question. They did a surgical and only got one puppy.
well, yeah. I mean, that's certainly plausible.
But they try to say that that's not the
But
reason why they
that
did it.
doesn't necessarily mean that it
Well,
was.
it's just coincidence that that was in question and then that happened and then there was only one puppy out of the litter. But
Yeah. So the female may have been subfertile too, and it's harder. No, okay, no.
Yeah, I always do surgical with frozen.
Why?
I'm sorry.
No, I did say always because frozen, you're
No, I
automatic.
said I do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
Yeah, because you're going to have a lower percentage when you thaw that out. Frozen just always has a lower motility and etc. Depending on the dog, of course, but 90% of the time you're going to. So you want that semen that's not going to possibly last as long as a fresh collection. You want it up there as close to the oviducts as possible.
right. Okay, go ahead, Damien.
Have you guys ever had any experience with gaff blood? And if so, can you give me your opinion on the gaff blood?
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. I personally, I like gaff blood. I mean, it's been around for a while. I think it adds in my dogs. It's added it adds intelligence as far as the bullies and really good movement. So I have a little bit in my dogs. It's far back now. I had some gaff dogs back in the day when I showed UKC. But gaff dogs are nice. People, and they were bully. They were, depending on what strains, they were different breeders. I believe Nevada dogs also stem down from gaff stock. But there were some pretty bully gaff dogs, and they're a really nice ingredient, to add into a breeding program with creating the bullies. I think you get a very well-balanced dog, and you can still keep that bulliness.
Right. Cayenne is, we went for Cayenne to come in. He also uses that, right, Tom?
I'm sorry? Cayenne, yeah, I believe so. He's a fan of that blood, and some other stuff also. Some old school Amstaff line.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
That right there, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but that's he's a 50% gaff female that we own. Tony, you have
camera on.
Champion class.
What?
Hey, Justin, turn your camera on. We can't see it.
Oh, I think he's talking about the dog on the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Damien. They go Cayenne.
She's a 50% gaff dog.
Matter of fact, yeah, go ahead, Cayenne. They asking about gaff blood and your experience with it.
I've had pretty good luck with it. I mean, I've always enjoyed the good structure that the gaff blood brings. My main components in my blood, the blood I have, are Eddie and Daisy May, which could kind of be the equivalent of a short shot diamond to a lot of bully breeders. And then on the flip side, I have some blood that goes back to Sierra, and I've had real good luck with it. Like I said, all my stuff is kind of crossed, but I've had real good luck with both strains, the Hawaiian strain of Sierra and the Pam Carter strain, her gaff. So I mean, I don't know exactly where they merged off, but they're pretty close, aren't they, Tony?
Yeah, Daisy May off of Simba.
Mm-hmm. And well, basically, it's line bred, but it's inbred. It's limited edition and Simba were litter mates, and they took limited edition and bred it to Daisy May.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how you remember pedigrees like that. I've never been a pedigree person, but I mean, I remember a little bit. It comes to me when we talk about them, but I don't know how you guys remember pedigrees. You must study pedigrees a lot, huh?
I always read them. I like them.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Damien.
All right, so it's coming from another breed. I was shockingly surprised to see bully puppies be so fat. Generally, I was always told that fat puppies are a negative because of health and growth reasons. Can you guys give me some of the positive qualities that having such fat puppies in the bully breed? Some
of the positive stuff with having a fat puppy. I mean, usually I guess when we look at a pup and you see that it's plump, and not thin, have a bloated stomach, then you kind of know it's healthy and worm-free. I guess that's the only benefits of it. But having a puppy really overweight, can cause, structural issues because, you're carrying all that weight while their bones are developing and growing. So you don't want to keep too much weight on a pup.
Right. It depends too, like you said, because a lot of the blood matures different. Most puppies are fat when they're little, no matter what breed it is. but bullies tend to be a lot heavier. That's why we get the swimmers and stuff like that. But it depends on the blood because I notice a lot of Gotti blood. They start off really skinny and funny looking with big stomachs and really no bodies, and then they blow up later. And then you got other dogs that they start off, really heavy just because of the way they bred. But the way I tell the difference between the bone and the fat is the density of the puppy when you pick them up. I mean, if you're picking up two puppies out of the same litter and you squeezing them, and one is soft and mushy and the other one is really hard, and this one is a lot heavier than that's how I tell the difference. But I like to keep my puppies fat just so I know that they are parasite free. And they're getting enough to eat so that they all grow at the same rate. I try to keep them fat but not overweight. You'll tell if they're overweight. Their head won't look proportioned to the body, and they won't really be able to move around. They'll start standing up late and stuff like that, so you'll know if they're too heavy. Cayenne?
I think y'all hit it on the head. I mean, I just say stress.
Whoa. We got a lot of feedback.
I don't hear it. Don't worry about it. I don't hear it. No,
Anybody
because last
else?
time we spent like 5 minutes on it, but the recording it didn't show it because I didn't hear it, so I don't hear any feedback.
I mean, I would just say stress on joints. Like Tony said earlier, I think that, stress on joints and hurting the movement on the puppies. But other than that, I mean, I basically agree with what he said.
Doc, anything to add?
Not a lot. I don't like to keep my puppies very fat. Yeah, they need to be healthy, but there's a difference between healthy and, that borderline where you're going to get a swimmer puppy or, puppies that are not moving properly, etc. So you have to be really careful, even if they're just nursing. We've had some where we've had to literally limit their time nursing because there were only 2 puppies in the litter and they were just gorging themselves and they got huge and they couldn't even stand. It was ridiculous. So you have to be really careful. People in this breed especially correlate fat with bully, and they're not the same thing. So you have to be really careful about obesity.
Right. Okay, go ahead, Damien.
Okay, I know Tony and Lawrence answered this question, I think, on episode 3, but so I'll leave it for the doc. And for Cayenne, what's the best litter you've ever produced, and why?
You and me go, or you want to go, Doc?
Go ahead.
Okay, so somebody said they're hearing the feedback too.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little bit of that.
Smart Alec. I don't know who. Does somebody have the YouTube open at the same time?
I got everything closed, but this.
Tony,
Yeah, you sound clear now, Cayenne. The only person I was getting feedback from was Cayenne.
Right.
All right.
I'd have to say one of my favorite litters I've had was obviously, the Cinco litter, the Takao to a Memphis daughter I had named Ciroc. That was just a litter. I just saw Cinco's litter made earlier tonight, and I was a big fan of that litter, me personally, out of all the ones I've had over the years. I'm trying to think of another one. I bred Memphis to Baghdad's littermate's sister, Rock Solid's Clementine. I was a pretty big fan of that litter at that time. I'd say that them and a couple of breedings I've done with New Vision over the years. All of them I have high hopes for. I mean, I think everybody does. You don't do a litter for wanting mediocrity. But I definitely think that the Takao and Ciroc litter was probably my favorite to date.
Okay. Was that question for Cheyenne or was that for the whole panel, Damien?
Well, it's for the whole panel. I thought you guys
yeah, I think you answered that before.
Previously, but you can go ahead. Yeah, I think you and Tony did on episode 3. I think I remember that.
Yeah, we did. We answered it.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, the next question, it says, Lawrence was just talking about fast maturing and slow maturing blood. What type of blood do you have on your yard, and which type of blood do you prefer?
I'll go first. My blood mature. I mean, right away when they when they pretty much born, you could tell. You know, I mean, I have plenty of videos on my Facebook. I like it like that because it takes away some of the guessing with not everything because structure can change at any time. But as far as like what I'm looking for in mass and body or width or things like that, that's what I like about my blood. You can tell right away. Like they don't really have a stage where you don't know. You either know right away or you know the other way, and they just keep excelling from there. So I prefer that blood because with a lot of bloods that mature late, you could spend 18 months waiting to see what this dog is gonna turn out like, and I don't like that. So
Yeah, I mean, because of the blood I use, with creating my line, I did it with selective breeding. I stayed away from a lot of the strain of dogs that were mixed and had bulldogs, so it took longer to get, where I am today. And because of the terrier influence, my line of dogs takes longer to develop. So, when I have a pup or 6 or 9 months old that's looking, that's pretty beefed up, I know that he's going to be a monster or she's going to be a monster. Um, Pups, I mean, you can tell the features with my pups early, but they will go into a lanky stage where they look all disproportionate. Um, but I've been incorporating some Gotti blood. I disagree with what Lawrence says that Gotti dogs take longer to mature. Gotti dogs, most Gotti strains, have more bulldog in it. They tend to be beefed up, but I think they tend to mature a lot earlier than most raisin blood strains.
I mean, if you look at the Dax line dogs, that's Gotti line. They start off. Look at Phenom. Phenom, nobody wanted him because of the way he looked.
But you're talking about at an early age. If you look at Dax dogs,
Yeah,
they're a
that's what.
lot more mature. Listen, they're a lot more mature at an earlier age than most Razor's Edge strains. They are. If you compare most heavy Razor's Edge dog to like a heavy Gotti dog with all that bulldog at 8 months old, usually the Gotti dog is a lot thicker, has developed, and they usually stop maturing a lot earlier. They peak out earlier to where a lot of edge strains, or if you have edge and gaff and stuff, they'll grow all the way to 4 years old, 3.5, 4.
Mm, I don't agree, but that's what the round table's about. Cayenne?
Oh,
You're focusing on just a few dogs, and some of these dogs have outcrosses. You got to look at as a whole. But there's so many different Gotti strains. I mean, you have some Gotti stuff, like the old school stuff. It's got a more American Bulldog. Some of the newer stuff's just got a little bit of everything in it. So it all depends. How you feel, Cayenne?
with my stuff, it's definitely late bloomers. I mean, with what blood I'm working with, I mean, I feel good, saying that they're going to be fully mature around 2 to 2.5. I think that definitely taking time to mature and develop is definitely a good thing, in my opinion. Not saying that, puppies, in different strains is a bad thing, but, I can definitely tell a difference between a 9-month-old puppy and a 2.5-year-old dog. I mean, I see that progression in my stuff, like you were kind of saying earlier. As far as the Gotti line goes, I mean, I think that's why it's kind of hard to put your nail on the head, because I don't want to sit there and say that there's so much more other in it, but there is, and so of course they're going to be bulkier from the jump street.
I see the opposite. I see a lot of dogs from that line that start off really bimpy looking. Some of them, of course, like the more influence of the bulldog that's in the strain, which you could tell. But
I mean,
a lot of them dogs, to me, I mean, from what I've seen, I'm just talking about what I see. A lot of them don't start off with that real wow, and then you give up on them and you sell them and you see them later and you're like, damn.
I mean, that's why the Gotti strains became so popular. That's why people breed to those dogs and go to that, because they've always matured earlier than what some of the strains that, you know, I work with, an Edge blood or the Gaff. That's why people, you know, were attracted to that blood. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I see dogs like that also. But like I said, by the time dogs like that may look real thin and slender and tall, by the time in the Gotti strain, by the time they're 8 months old, they've caught up and they're really thick. And you can say that about any blood, you know, that you see dogs that are real skimpy looking, and then they blossom. But I think overall, as a Gotti, it matures a lot quicker than any Edge strain or Gaff strain I've seen. That's why people go after that blood.
I'm just being biased to my blood because I look at them compared to my dogs and they don't look like that. But Tone, is that by coincidence you have that nice little Superman curl going on there, or?
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Right.
What? We got the Superman girl? God damn it!
Man, that's pretty gangster. It's meant to be, son. Yeah.
Okay, we got a question. What service do you guys use for ear cropping? Do you go to vets? Do you do it yourself? Do you let a friend do it who's experienced? What service do you guys personally use?
For what?
Wait, I didn't hear that.
For ear cropping?
Ear cropping.
What?
Yeah, we all use vets.
Vets.
Right?
Thank you.
That is the correct answer.
Right.
It's right or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest going to anybody's backyard. Go to a vet, man. You know, I use a vet.
Listen to me. I'm going to get on a soapbox because this is important. How many of you have lost dogs during an ear crop by somebody that was not a licensed veterinarian? A lot of people. Do you want your ear crop done by somebody that's not trained in anesthesia, that doesn't have the proper equipment, that doesn't know all of the medical, the pharmacology training, the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? It's not. You're selling these dogs for $1,500 to God knows how much money. Is it really worth?
And your cheap ass can't fucking get an ear crop from veterinarian.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you, around here, you know what they charge for ear crop? $750 to $1,500.
At a veterinarian's
For an ear
office?
crop.
Yep.
Yeah, at a veterinarian office, $750 to $1,500.
Most of them won't even do it. They won't even.
Yeah.
They won't,
Down
Some
here.
won't even do it.
I have a big problem with that because
they consider it cosmetic, so they won't.
and the AVMA is against it, and they want to try to ban it. And my theory is people are going to get it done, and the AVMA needs to step up and say we can either do it correctly with the proper pain management and the proper technique and sterile instruments, etc., or we can let people go to Joe Blow down the street where the puppy might die, it might get infected, yada yada yada. They don't get it. They don't. It's frustrating, and that's why we do a ton of ear crops, because most veterinarians don't want to do it. It's an ethical thing, or it's a whatever.
Well, I don't understand what the problem is, Corey. It doesn't hurt. Oh, it doesn't bother the dogs. I mean, puppies are up in a half an hour. They're wrestling around and biting each other and eating, and
I know.
I mean, it's crazy.
A lot of veterinarians are anti-declawing and stuff like that because it's not necessary for medical whatever, and I just have a different outlook on that, and I'd rather do it right than.
Corey, do you travel?
Do what?
Do you travel?
What? Well, I would love to, but my anesthesia machine weighs like 400 pounds. So.
That's all right. That's all right.
Seriously,
Justin can lift that.
We have a spare bedroom. Bring a litter of puppies. Just come on.
You live far away. How about if I get you like 50 dogs to do? Then you just make a trip. 50.
If I could put my anesthesia in my pocket, that's the thing too. Is like I don't even know how some of these people are doing these ear crops in their backyard because we put them on gas anesthesia with oxygen and monitors and stuff like that, and I mean, you can't get the proper pain control if you don't do that.
No. The vets here are greedy, man. They're so greedy with what they charge. It's crazy. And most of them don't even do a good job. It's horrible.
And they do that so that they don't have, they can say, oh, well, he didn't want to do it because I charged too much. And that's their way out of it. They say, yes, we offer this service. If you want to pay for it, great. But if you don't, you know, it's not on me. I didn't refuse to do the service. I just priced it so high that most people.
That's why I'm sending my daughter to vet school. And we're gonna try. I'm gonna have a mobile vet service.
No, listen to me. Send her to medical school. She can have all the dogs and all the ear crops she wants, and make real money.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, the vets around here, they live in mansions, so they're making real money. I guess it depends where you're. I guess it depends where you're a vet.
Down
New
here, a C-section up here, non-emergency is starting at like $1,100. Non-emergency.
Oh my God.
Once you get into the emergency C-section, it's
25, $3,000, sometimes more.
Up here where I'm at is $1,800 to $2,200 you pay for a C-section.
Wow.
And I got receipts. God, I got receipts. So my guy that does my ears, he works at a vet. Boy, he does my ears for me. And he's done all my dogs for, so I don't even know how many years.
Down here, C-section costs anywhere. I go somewhere and it costs $454, and I walk out the door. Ear cropping, not there, but somewhere else, $187 out the door. Top is going to be $350 for an ear crop. Now, if I go to an emergency vet, you're going to get 15 to 18 on a C-section. And that's in South Carolina and Georgia.
See, we got a guy up here that we can go to where it'll be around 500, but it's 3.5 hours, right? To me, it's not worth saving that little bit of money to travel with my bitch for 3.5 hours in labor.
Yeah.
And
no, not for C-section.
Bring her back with all the fucking puppies, and it might be either summertime or the middle of winter. Either way, that's not good for the puppy. So it's not. It doesn't make sense for me to do that. So I just end up paying $1,800 to $2,200 for a C-section. You know, that's how the vets are here. We got vets up here that'll let you call them and they'll ask you all the questions that they need. And they'll tell you, come in with the dog. And when you get there, they'll tell you, we're not going to do it unless you fix the dog. That's how they do you up here.
They do. Or they give you one price and then you go in there and they crack you with another $800, $1,000 on top of it because they know you're already there.
Yeah.
Those dang greedy veterinarians.
Man, they get you up here. I'm telling you, I searched and searched. And I got this one guy who always his nose is running. I try not to touch him because he always got snot running out his nose. But he's the only vet in my area that will work with these dogs. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's no good. Go ahead, Damien.
Next question is kind of funny. It says, help me. I'm fairly new to the bully community. I've only produced 1 litter. And to be honest, I gave up on the male and gave him to someone else. Now he's a champion. Should I ask for him back, or should I just let it go and hope to produce more dogs of his quality?
Really?
I can't believe you'd even ask that.
I think that's being funny. You just got to chalk it up. We all got dogs that we sold that we regret selling, and it is what it is. Just be happy that somebody actually took the time to take one of your productions and make it a champion.
Yeah. If he's your ideal dog and you like the dog, then you could offer to buy him. I mean, I doubt you could ask for him back. Nobody's going to give you a dog back.
If you reason why you want him back is to breed to him, just pay Stuffy and breed to him.
Exactly.
Right.
Hold on, I got a question from A Quality Bullies. When planning a breeding, what are some of the steps that you take when finding a stud to breed to? That's a good question. A lot of people don't know. Let Cayenne go first.
And what I look for in a male, or what I look for?
What are the steps that you take when looking for a stud?
I just really look to see what kind of dog is going to improve hopefully I produce a better animal. I think that's everybody's goal. And I look for what my female lacks and see the strong points of the stud. And I mean, I do look at blood. I think that, that's a little bit of a factor, but I really look at the package of the dog and what it brings to the table and what it can help bring to the program,
Yeah, also, what you don't want to do is just breed to the biggest stud that everybody's breeding to, because he may not be compatible with your bitch. So, you want, like you said, you want to look at the strong points, but you also want to make sure that on the points that's not so strong that you just are looking at, you want to make sure that the dogs match each other. That's how you get consistency in your litters without inbreeding. You make sure that the dogs carry a lot of the same features, and then the male or the female counters the faults of the other dog. So don't breed to who everybody's breeding to, because he may not give you what you want because he doesn't match with your female. Look for what, get your vision together, but also breed to what's going to match with your female, because no matter what your vision is, you can't force your female to produce a dog like that if she is what she is.
Yeah.
That?
I think people too a lot of times expect the male to overcome. It's the same with horses, but they pick this male that is the epitome of what they have a vision for, and they don't put much stock in what the female is. The female is huge. You have to have a female that, like you said, complements the male, but also is in her own right a very good specimen of the breed. So, I mean, it's hard. We have our own male. We don't do a lot of outside breedings anymore. We will probably eventually, but movement is a huge thing, and we have lost the movement in this breed like nobody's business. And these dogs move like walruses, and we have to get that.
Yeah. Real talk. Real talk, girl. Real talk.
So, for me, like, one of the dogs that has just hit home for me, male, that we will do an outside breeding with is Cali Gold Rush. If you see this dog, he's impressive. When you see him move, you're like, that is unbelievable. That dog he's just amazing. And that's what you should have, that reaction. It shouldn't be like, oh, he's got a really awesome head, but the rest of him can go to shit, because it's not. It's the whole package. And breed type means everything from head to tail, and they should be able to move with some semblance of athleticism, in my opinion.
Okay. Anybody else?
I mean, I don't know. You want me to answer it?
If you got something to say, let's get it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have something to say. For me, when I'm searching for a stud, I look for a male that has something to offer that I'm lacking. But I try to find a male that has some productions on the ground, or comes from a consistent line that he has the same look that his ancestors had, or at least the 2 generations behind him, as I'm searching for that consistency. And I also check out his offspring and see what flaws or faults he's throwing, what kind of good traits he's throwing in his dog, whether he's throwing head, bone, the conformation. Those are little things that I just pay attention to in selecting a stud. And I want to make sure that the stud, he's got to have good structure, he's got to have good breed type. And if I have a female that's weak in a certain area, I search for that stud that's going to complement her. And usually I know my line, I know the weak areas, or how they're producing, and I want to go to a stud that has been strong in that area, that's producing strong in that area, to fix those issues. That's about it.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Next question. They want to see if you guys can show two sire and a dam that you see compatible, and if what they produced. I don't know if you guys would do that. I don't know, but that was the question.
Couldn't hear you.
They want to know if we can show what would be considered compatible sire and dam, and then the offspring.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't have the ability to do that. So, but Lawrence, you're the only one with the ability to do that.
Well, it's gonna be a lot of noise here trying to bring the dogs out. Oh, you mean on the computer? Let me see. Go ahead. To the next question. I'll look.
Okay. This question is about genetics. It says genetics is fairly new to the bully community, but do you think in time we'll be able to do genetically predispositioned flaws in our dogs to prevent certain breedings and things like that? So basically, I think they want to know what do you think like you'll be able to genetically test to see if a dog is highly capable that would have things like hip dysplasia, stuff like that.
I don't think they test for stuff. I think you go by the lineage of the dog. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know, but I don't think there's a test for that.
Well, there is. I mean, you can either do pen hip or OFA testing.
Oh no, he means ahead of time, like
For those,
like a genetics test to see if that's something they can.
There are some genetic tests. I mean, like for example, thyroid testing and other genetic diseases and stuff. But until this breed's a little older and we determine for sure what all breeds are mixed into it, we're not really going to know what they're predisposed to, other than hip dysplasia and elbow dysplasia. So, yeah, there are a lot of DNA tests and stuff that you can do that say, yes, they're predisposed to this condition or that condition, but we have to come to some kind of agreement as to what those are for this breed.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Damien. What happened to Kanye? He got knocked out.
I
Yeah, I
guess.
think lagging in and out because I was seeing like 2 or 3 of him.
He got that bootleg service.
Okay. Next question. It says, as far as the longevity of the breed, I know technically, like you guys said last week, we don't have a breed, but his question is, moving forward, what are some of the things that you guys can see becoming more prevalent in the bully community that's positive?
So
I'm having a hard time hearing him. What do we see in the bully community that's positive?
Yeah, moving forward, they were saying they know we technically don't have a breed right now, but they want to focus on the positive moving forward. What are some of the things that you're seeing that is going to be positive in the bully community?
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of negative, but there are people that are trying to make a change and trying to establish some consistency in the breed. I think the negative outweighs the good, but I guess the breed has come a long way. You know, showing makes a difference. You know, showing helps the community come together and to produce a better specimen. I don't know. This bringing the community together, I think shows like this contribute to the betterment of the breed, because I think people that are new and they're just getting involved and just trying to, you know, to get involved in the community and breed can at least gain a little bit of knowledge and kind of get pointed in the right direction with the things that they're doing. So there are some positive things going on in the bully community.
okay.
I mean, I think that just as far as knowledge and everything, I think that like we discussed earlier, that the breed's so young, you know, I feel like a few years ago people got a bully pup and they were still under the presumption that it was a pit bull. And now that's not really the case. People know that they getting a bully pup. And I think that helps out a lot. And I honestly think that the shows being all around the country, regardless or not of how you feel about them, it exposes people to the breed, and people get to see them firsthand. And as far as, I mean, I think those are the positives. As far as like structure and stuff, I mean, it's kind of like, trying to fix the ozone just being one country. It's kind of a hard thing to do. But
yeah, the problem is with popularity, man, comes a lot of bad, because the more the breeding is displayed around the world, you have more people trying to become breeders. Everybody, I mean, I've never come across a breed where everybody that owns these dogs wants to breed. So it is contributing to, just overpopulation, man. The pounds are filled with pit bully style dogs, and I think that's a big negative to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Go ahead, Tom.
Positive, Tony. Smile sometimes. It'll get better.
What are Tony's so serious. I
because
think the junior handler is going to be, it's already huge. Like, I've been so impressed from the time that we implemented it to now. We went to our first dog show in 2 years, and the amount of junior handlers, like, seriously handling these dogs and answering the questions and, like, winning, it was amazing. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
And the reason that we did the junior handler the way I did it was because I said to Justin at one point, I said, if we have these kids studying the structure of the dog and the health of the dog and all the things about the dogs, then the parents are going to have to go, wow, my 8-year-old knows more about these dogs than I do. I have got to step my game up. And that was the whole point, and it's happening. And I have this little boy at the dog show coming up to the table, looking at, he has a bully book at home, but he was looking at my copies going, okay, so what do I need to know, and what pages do I need to study when I go home, because he'd got second place or something. And it was just amazing, because he was, like, super excited. He's like, that next show that I'm going to, that person's not going to beat me, and I'm going to know my stuff, and the game is on. So it was really awesome. There's a lot of positive going on, and I think that's pretty exciting.
That's what's up. This episode is brought to you by Top Notch Raw Diet. Hit my man Andy Moore up. He's in a lot of different states. I'm not sure. You can hit him up and ask. Get that raw. If that's what you're trying to get, I'm going to show you how it looks, and then I'll take it down. This is how it comes in a tool. It's sealed airtight. I put it in the sink, throw it out, give it to the dogs, mix it with the kibble.
What's the cost on that? What you're getting?
My cost is not what everybody else pays, because I get a lot. So I can't give a price.
I think it's around $1.89 a pound.
This is
regular price or something like that.
Yeah.
Are you being serious? That's
and
really
he delivers. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's bulk, like he gets a route together, like he just dropped that off. That's just my beef. I still gotta wait on the chicken. You know what I mean? So
is it ground up?
That's around 86 pounds, 86 pounds right there.
It's not ground up. It's in little pieces and chunks. He does like a chicken, beef, and tripe with organ meat mixture, and then you can do beef and tripe, or you could just do beef, with the organ meat also. And it's just a blend of all of that. It's in chunks, so the dogs actually have to work it and chew on it.
And the puppy blend. He actually makes a puppy blend too.
Yeah.
That's ground up real fine with the bones and all that. He grinds that up real fine. So he got a puppy blend, he's got a beef blend, he's got a chicken blend, and he's got it's something like a satin ball, but it's all blended up. into like a paste.
Hey,
Top-notch raw. Come up, Andy Moore.
does he have any bone matter in the regular stuff? Not the puppy mixture, but the regular stuff? Because I don't think I see any bone in there or anything.
Well, I think he does it different now because it kept popping holes in the bags. Like when you would throw them out, they would get full of water because of the bones would poke through the bag. So I think he does. All right, go ahead, Damien. Oh wait, anybody wanted to touch on that junior handler thing or anything like that?
No, I mean she just said that was a positive thing. That's a very positive thing. I think junior handlers, it's a great program, you know. So
Definitely.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Damien.
Okay, I actually want to know this question too. It says, I've been watching the show for a few weeks. I think this will be a great show to have like an open forum at a show. Do you guys have any plans to do that this year? And if so, what shows?
We don't as of yet, but it's something that Damien's been shooting at me. We got to figure out how it's gonna work. It would have to be something that we will be able to do together because, you know, it's just it wouldn't be at the same if the knowledge is not there. Like if somebody's asking a question and everybody's not available, it won't be. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be a point to do it. So we have to set it up where it makes sense. You know what I mean? Hear me?
I heard you.
Next question.
Hold on. I thought it was. All right, go ahead, David.
And they piggyback that one was, what is the next show you guys are all attending?
The what?
What's the next show we're all attending?
And
Probably the next show that me and Tony will probably be at together will probably be the Jersey show, the ABKC Jersey show or the RKC show, one of the two.
I won't be at the RKC show.
I mean, I'm definitely.
I'll be at the ABKC show.
Huh?
I'll be at the ABKC show, yeah. And aren't we gonna hit that Rolando Mata and Bully the Kid show in Georgia?
I'll see you there. I'll be at that one.
Gotta bring the hitters out, son. Cayenne will bring them full force.
Okay, go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question. Let's see. Okay, next question is going to be for the Bully Doc. They want to know how normal is tongue discoloration in young puppies. Since I've been experiencing this off and on with a lot of my litters, never linked it to any health issues, but I don't notice it in anybody else's puppies. Could it be the food I'm feeding, something I'm not giving them?
Tone discoloration?
What do they mean by discolored?
Yeah,
Like
I think,
black spots?
let me get clarification, and while we're doing that, I'm going to move on to the next question. Because we need clarification. But next question is about showing again. They kind of want you guys' opinion on the whole proper show lead thing, they said, because it says it's different for different people. I don't really know anything about that. So do you guys know what they're referencing about the show lead?
Hold on, I can show you. Let me see if I have something here.
Uh-oh, demo.
Actually, I do. Can you see this? All right, hold on. Let me get out my bag. Basically, with the show lead, you always wanted to go in through the left. You know, when you set it up, I'll show you here in a second. Let me get this one right here. Actually, I don't have right here. All right, I don't have the right stuff, but I'll show you. So basically, when you set up a show lead, you want to form a P. That's the easiest way I can explain it to someone. You don't want it like this, you know, because when you get your dog, your dog should always be on your left. So when you pull on this, you want to pull and then it releases again. If you have it reversed and you're walking on the left, what happens is you pull like this and it locks. and it chokes your dog. So your dog's not going to respond very well to you. So the best thing is when you go up to your dog, turn it like this. You want it going in on. You want this.
The ring.
The ring, basically the side of the ring on the right, and your long part of the lead going to the left. You want to form a P. That's the easiest way to remember it. You form a P, just like that. With this, you slide it right on the dog.
That's if they have that type of lead. Most people have this type of lead.
Well, it doesn't matter. Either way, you form a P.
Oh, you don't.
The martingale ones don't form a P.
This one that's straight down. It doesn't form a P.
And really,
Oh, which one?
those don't really work very well. In my
Yeah, they don't work very well, buddy. They're crap.
This is
What are you
what
talking about?
They're crap.
This is what I use.
Well, we're talking about professional, not some. That nobody uses that shit in the real dog world.
You could call it professional all you want.
Tell him, Corey. Tell him.
I got a dual champion, so I think I know a little bit.
No, you don't.
Well, I mean, I could put a shoelace on a dog too and champion it out. Doesn't mean that's what you should be using.
Where do you go? Where do y'all go?
Tony's a hater. It's all right.
Okay, listen. The reason is because when you go to stack the dog, the ring should be by that right ear. And so then you fold over the rest of the actual chain, or if you're...
Like I said, this is the one that most people have. When you go to the show, most people are going to have this one right here.
No, not most people.
Most people do not have that. Most people do not have that.
Which one everybody has? I go to shows. You haven't been to a show in a really long time. So stop.
That is a lead for children. That's what children use in a junior handler.
When was the last time you been to a show, dog, Tony?
What?
Okay, my man. Say no more.
What did you say?
When was the last time you went to a show?
When's the last time I did the same time you did?
Oh, was it? You was judging.
The only difference is I was judging. You were judging.
That's not the lead that they had? I got video. I go to a lot of shows, Tony.
Listen, that is a junior.
All right, moving on. We don't got to argue about what type of lead people use. I see a lot of there's two different type of leads. Let's just say that.
Lawrence.
Some people use one, some people use the other. There's two type of leads. The ones
That's in the bully world. And you go to any other registry, you will not see people using this type of lead.
Bullies, right?
But it doesn't matter. That's just a trend. Lawrence, that is a trend that has been started in our community.
Go ahead, Damien.
Wow.
No, the doc was trying to get
hater. Sit down, you hater.
Shut up. We can't hear you, Tony. Shut up. We can't hear you. All we can do is see your little Superman curl going back and forth.
You're not even right.
That's my boy. We do this all the time. Go ahead, David.
He's just jealous. He's just jealous because of hair. I don't even put nothing in my hair.
Push it back there.
I don't even put nothing. All natural. Look, I don't even brush my hair.
You better hope you look this good after.
Man, you be giving yourself a haircut every 2 days, man. Get out of here. I'm on my same shit from last week.
You better hope you look this good after 43. I know some people 40 who look way older than me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look good, I know, man, but I'm jealous.
You know what I mean? 43. You know what I mean? But anyway.
Why you gotta lie? You were 46 last week. Now you gonna say you're 43? Come on, man.
Facebook, 43. Go ahead, David.
All right, children.
Okay, next question. How do you guys feel about the phrase, you're breeding for money? They say technically, I know everybody's breeding for money because we need money to support our bullies, but what do you guys feel about? How do you guys feel about that phrase? Is it good or bad?
Hey, look! I found my daughter's junior handler lead.
Put it around your neck and jump off the
table. That's just like the one you got, right?
Put it around your neck and jump off the table.
Purple too. That's your color.
Put it right on your neck and jump off the table.
Wow, you're flipping here.
So you made us forget what the question was. Go ahead, Damien. What was the question?
Breeding for money. Good or
Oh,
bad?
I don't really pay attention to that. I think most of the time the people that say that are the people that can't sell puppies. So. Go ahead, Doc.
That's what we were talking about last week. Remember the show, Sheen?
You talked about that without me? Oh.
Yes, we did.
You play hooky.
Yeah, I
Show
did.
Sheen. This is the stuff to shine your dogs up for the show.
That's my secret weapon. Oh, Quicksilver. Shampoo. Is this
What
an ad?
happened?
Is that what you spray on your mohawk?
What did he spray his hair with?
That's what he sprays on his mohawk.
That's why my skin stays so shiny.
You're so weird.
That's from all that guacamole. Yeah, Damien.
We didn't even answer the question.
Oh, go ahead, Doc.
We're just calling out.
Yeah, silly. It's Friday, y'all. We're trying to make it fun. Oh, Doc, hey, anybody that's watching, if you got the book, because some people hit me up and said they got the book. If you got the book, send me an inbox or send Damien an inbox so we can shout you out. Good looking out. Doc, appreciate, you know what I mean?
Hey, let's give away another book, shall we?
Yeah, let's give somebody a book. That's what's up. All right, so.
I'm right here. Pick me. Pick me.
Check it out.
You don't have one?
No, see, I ordered one, but somebody stole it out the mailbox.
See what happened?
Hillbilly Bob, the breeder down the street.
How can you not have one? Oh, wait, Damien doesn't have one. I bet Lawrence
I gotta get
has
one too. I'm gonna get one so I can have it up here.
I'm a bunch of haters.
No, we not hating. We just procrastinating.
Whatever.
We not hating. We procrastinating. Oh, it's like I said. Anybody, if you got the book, hit us up. Let us know you got the book so we can shout you out. And if you got somebody get a real good question that get me and Tony arguing again, and y'all can get it. We'll give away another book because people like to see me and Tony argue. So
I do, yeah.
Tony, where you going? Don't try to go over there and write no material down, man.
Okay, for clarification on that one question, the puppy's tongue is white on the puppy's tongue, so similar to what infants on their tongue.
White?
I've never heard.
What's up, Doc? Come on, Doc.
Send me a picture.
That's what I asked for while y'all were talking before I asked for an example.
Come on, Doc.
No, that's not diagnosable by that description.
Come on, Doc. Come on. I'm gonna race you. I'm gonna race you.
Okay.
I'm gonna race you on the diagnosis. Come on, Doc.
Really?
Come on, Doc.
Okay, go. Go, Lawrence. Go. You're Googling it? Are you?
So, Liam, see, you know what I hate? I hate haters when they say you Googling it. That's what the hell Google is for.
Do not confuse your Google search with my medical degree.
Hey, listen, I haven't been wrong, but maybe one time. I haven't lost any dogs.
Wow. You're Googling what? White spots on tongue?
Hey.
Yeah, what is it? What is it?
Hold on. You ain't got no answer yet. Don't be asking for my answer, cheater.
No, because there's some things where you actually have to examine the dog to be able to diagnose something.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, at least I can get an idea. You ain't even come up with an idea.
Because I don't have enough information. If I come up with an idea, that could be malpractice. Okay.
So let's play process of elimination. Okay. I'll make ask them if they're worming. Well, they can hear me. Are you worming your puppies correctly? Right? And then answer that question, and then we'll come back to it. And then go ahead, Damien. Move on to the next question.
Next question is for the bully dog. It said, since you are the bully doc, have you ever thought of getting a mobile vet station to travel around the shows, just for things like examinations and things like that? I know you can't, do the normal veterinarian stuff, but they said I think there's money to be made because there's.
I actually carry a crash kit with me to every show because I've had some incidents where dogs have had heat stroke and various other. There was a dog bite at the last dog show I went to, and I had to give some medication to that dog. But as far as a mobile vet station, it would be a little illegal unless it was in the state of Arkansas, because I don't. Unless it's an emergency, I can't treat dogs outside of the state because I don't have a license in every state. So there's that.
That would cost a lot of money to maintain something like that too, wouldn't it?
It would. When
That's funny because
I thought about
heat stroke.
Go ahead. What? Sorry.
The next question they had is actually about heat stroke. They said over the, I guess they're talking about last summer because summer hadn't came this year yet, but over the summer I was at a few dog shows where unfortunately a few dogs passed away, mostly due to the negligent owners who did not have a clue what to do when their dogs were displaying symptoms of heat stroke. Can you guys go ahead and share the information so that everyone may have access to it?
Information on what to look for in heat stroke?
What to look for and what to do to kind of not have the dog pass away at shows.
Okay, so here's a big thing with bullies, and what people don't understand is that you can have heat stroke in a 72-degree air-conditioned building, and this is why. A lot of our bullies have what's called elongated soft palates because of the bulldog influence and various other things. But they have so much soft tissue back there where their airway should start that when they get stressed, you can't pull a dog off a yard, take it to a dog show when it's never been away from home, and not expect that animal to be stressed. So they come into this this actually happened in Atlanta. Come into an air-conditioned building, and the dog started panting. And it started panting, and it started hyperventilating, and all the tissue in that throat swelled. And so they thought the dog was choking on a chicken bone because they had fed it some raw chicken that morning. Well, that wasn't the case. I stuck my hand down, everything was fine, there was no obstruction. And I said, this dog is having a heat stroke. And they were like, but it's air-conditioned in here. I said, I know that. But when the dog can't cool itself when it's stressed, it overheats because it can't cool itself by panting because it's not getting enough oxygen. So we had to rush the dog to an emergency vet, which is a whole other story in and of itself, in Atlanta, where I didn't know where anything was. So the thing is, if your dog is panting and it's got that tongue hanging half out the mouth, and its tongue and its gum line and everything is really, really red, that's the first sign that your dog might be in trouble. We've had people drag their dog around the ring with the choker chain, and it's on in the reverse P, and they're choking it and they're pulling it because the dog's not trained to be a show dog, but they're pulling it around the ring and the dog's going. That's a sign. That's a sign that the dog is having a problem. And we let them out of the show ring and say, look, your dog it's having an issue, and they're like, no, it's fine, it's going to be fine. And the next thing I know, we're rushing the dog back and we're putting it under cold water because it's too hot. The main thing is, if you think your dog's having a problem, don't put ice on it. Don't put it under ice cold water because you can shock the system into complete organ failure. So cool water, like lukewarm, like where it feels cool to the touch, that's what you want to do. And so we've had to do that at so many shows. I started taking sedation because a lot of times these dogs are so stressed, you have to completely sedate them and relax them so that they start breathing normally, and you can get some of that edema down in their throat. So no ice. You can do alcohol on the pads of the feet. That will help cool them. But if they're so hot and so stressed, you don't want to shock their system to the point where you go the opposite and you actually cause hypothermia. So.
You know what else I noticed too is another sign that a lot of people don't look for before all of that. At these shows, these guys be dragging their dogs all over the place.
Yep.
Well, if you're gonna show your dog, well, this is just how I do it. If I have a dog with me that I'm showing, I'm not gonna be walking the dog all over the building all day long.
Right.
It's gonna be, I'll take him out and give him a spin or two so people can see him, and he stays in his cage until he goes in the ring. If he doesn't place to where he needs to come back in the ring again, then I'll take him out and let him walk around. But if he has to go back in the ring again, he goes right back in his cage.
Yeah. They have to rest.
The other thing is, I see these guys walking around with their dogs, and your dog is supposed to breathe from his chest.
Mm-hmm.
If he's breathing from his stomach, and you see his stomach going like this, up and down, that deep breathing from the stomach, you need to put your dog up and get him cool and let him relax. I see people still dragging their dogs around when they're breathing like that.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Tom?
No, I mean, you guys basically touched on it. Sorry, my daughter woke up. I've been a little bit loud.
So we didn't hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay, next question is, you guys have kind of touched on this before, but I want to come at it from a different angle. You guys have given your opinion on some of the features that the Bulldog breed has brought into the bully to detriment, such as the pallets and things like that. What would you attribute really weak rears to in the bully?
Bad breeding and poor breeding. You know, but I mean, the Bulldogs, as far as the English Bulldog, doesn't have a very strong rear. The oldie is actually supposed to have a strong rear. But again, people didn't use very good specimens. They kind of used what they had access to. And then, just a poor breeding. People just breeding. I have friends that just, refuse to notice the issues they have in their dog, and they just pair it up with a dog that has the same issue. And I mean, the rears are one of the hardest things to fix in a dog. And when you have generation after generation of weak rears, you're going to lock that in. It's going to be tough to get rid of it. So that's why we have these issues. Everybody tripling up, doubling up on a dog with a horrible rear. What do you think you're going to get?
Also, with the bad rears and the weak rears and all of that, it doesn't help either that a lot of these dogs don't get out of their cages. It doesn't do nothing but make it worse. Weaker, no muscle tone, no movement in the rear. It just makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go ahead, Damien. Oh wait, A Quality Bullies. He said he would really like to know when you first started breeding, and you were not big in the bully world. What were some of the things you did to get your name out there in the bully world, and how did you get connections with other breeders? I think we touched on that a little bit Tuesday, as far as like seeking out people who think like you and stuff like that. But promotion, just go back and watch the other episodes. And we talked about that, promoting and branding and stuff like that. That's really important. It's not just about owning dogs and waiting until you got litters to jump out there. But we touched on that on the other episodes, so go ahead and run through those. Go ahead, Damien.
Next question is, I know you guys have touched on this before as well, but I guess they're talking about you, Ms. Corey. They want to know, have you ever thought about putting out a how-to guide for people new to the bully community?
I actually did that. It's called the American Bully Book.
What?
It does. It actually goes through, like, if you want to go to your first dog show, this is what you need to prepare for. And, if you want to feed raw, and if you want to, there's a lot of information in there about medications and maladies that your dog might experience. And it is, I tried to put it together so it was kind of if you're getting your first bully, then this is what you need to know.
All you gotta do is hit Bully Doc up. She'll direct you to the website. Get your little credit card out. You know what I mean?
Ooh. You said that out there.
Right? Oh. It's not that expensive, Dave.
What happened to Cayenne? Hey, Cayenne fell off. If anybody want to join us, want to kick it with us, we got about a half hour left.
Now he's back.
No, look, he said you ain't gonna replace me.
What happened?
My spot.
We trying to find your replacement, and you jump back in as soon as I said that.
Man, Chrome ain't the way to go.
Oh no.
No.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, Tony, it says, can you please justify this to me? I have a beautiful female dog, but I was told she was disqualified for eye color, and they want to know, why should any dog be disqualified due to eye color?
Well, you know what? We have the bully doc on, and this is a perfect question for her to answer
No.
because
This is a
she
judge
could have.
question. Because
No,
I had this question from actually a friend of mine who just bought a beautiful male puppy who has 2 different eye colors. And I said, I don't have an explanation for why that's a fault. I don't. He has a white face.
aren't there?
Well, part
Well,
of
aren't there?
it goes for certain color eyes, and it's
There's
in the
not
standard that.
only albino, which is a disqualification, but I don't know. There's no health standpoint for why a blue eye and a brown eyed dog should be a fault.
I think it's because it's not characteristic of what this breed should produce, and if it does, that means there's an influence of something else. Just like if there's Merle in your dog, that means that there's an influence of something else.
Right.
So the eye color is a disqualification because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the eyes are supposed to be brown, or they're supposed to be, depending on the color of the coat, they're supposed to be close to the coat. But 2 different color eyes and white eyes is a disqualification.
And I actually have a whole. If you look at my Facebook, I imagine someone asked that because I actually put something up about the different eye colors and why it's a disqualifying trait on my Facebook. So you can go on and I'll bring it back to surface. It's been floating around in all the different groups this week.
White pit bull.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So white pit bulls should always have brown eyes?
I mean, I read that. Not white pit bulls, but that's part of the breed characteristics. If they have white or 2 different color eyes or split down the middle, it's a disqualification.
There are health issues associated with the color of the eyes. That's why that has been.
That's why Merle is disqualifying, and it's like we're not allowed to breed the Merles because the Merles come with a lot of eye issues.
It's associated with Catahoula, but are there?
Well, they come with a lot of eye issues.
Because I'm not Richard Stratton, so I don't know. Are there blue-eyed pit bulls?
Yes.
Of course there are.
Then why can't there be blue-eyed bullies?
Because no, they're not supposed to be blue-eyed pit bulls.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
They attribute that to in that breed.
People started breeding dogs for that. Like I noticed that when I had my unpapered dogs, my blue dogs, people always wanted the puppy's eyes to stay blue. You know how their eyes got that blue tinge?
Right.
They always want their puppy's eyes to stay blue. So people, when they started breeding for the blue color, breeding blue dogs on top of blue dogs, that was one of the things that they wanted the dogs to have was blue eyes, but they're not supposed to have blue eyes.
I had some watchdogs that had blue eyes. If you remember, Chaos's blue 8-baller had one blue eye on the white part of his on the white part of his face. I think there is health issues associated. You know, I mean, they've always bred against it, but I mean, I've got a book behind me that has Kobe dog with one of the Kobe guys, blue piebald brindle, blue eyes. You know, I mean, not blue brindle, but black brindle piebald with blue eyes. So I mean, it's definitely there.
Yeah.
I think certain combinations produce certain problems. Like people breed those hairless dogs, and they have a lot of issues with their eyes and their teeth because the eyes, the teeth, and the hair, if I'm not mistaken, Doc, are all made of the same protein. So when you start breeding no hair, then you also lose the nails and the teeth, and you have eye problems.
Yeah. But I don't think there's any that I've experienced any kind of health problems with the bullies or pit bulls that have blue eyes.
I haven't
So
seen
I'm-
it either, but I know I've read that it's a disqualification. If
Listen, I will read this to you. Listen, I will read this to you on what I pulled up. Damn it, my damn thing's freezing up. It's definitely associated with health issues as far as glaucoma and cataracts. That's why it's a disqualifying flaw.
Have you ever
And over the years, I guess there has been issues with it in multiple breeds, and it's something that's followed the different breeds and followed registries, and that's why it is in our, that's why it's a disqualifying trait in our breed.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, the different colored eyes, I'm sorry, actually, the different color eyes, I guess it depends on what registry. It's not disqualifying, but it's a fault.
Yes,
Yeah, it's not disqualifying in the ABKC. It's just a fault.
right.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
question
It's a
is,
fault, though. I mean, it's
can always
disqualifying.
question that.
ADBA is disqualifying, though.
Is it?
Yeah, it depends on what registry. That's what I just that's what I wanted to point out. Just because it's not, if someone in the American Bully got disqualified for that, then I don't know. Then that's something you got to take up with the registry. But
They actually have. Okay, Tony, I'll speak on this for a minute. There was somebody 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, that got disqualified from a judge that, it is what it is. But they got disqualified for having the blue-eyed dog. They should have never been disqualified because it is a fault. It is not a disqualification. There's very few disqualifications, but that judge disqualified them because, once again, that judge was improperly trained to be in that show ring.
yeah,
But that happened, and then about 6 months later, it happened 3 more times because other judges believed what that judge said instead of reading the rules.
right. Well, that's why I picked up on it when I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, well, hold on. The person asked the question said they got disqualified for it.
Also
they
disqualifying
should.
in the UKC.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, we used to allow it as far as ABKC used to allow it. There's actually champions that have that, but now a dog should never be able to hold a champion title if it displays that those traits.
Exactly.
Okay. Just to clarify real quick, they said it was ABKC, and this happened to them last year.
Well, that's probably the reason they gave them, just because they didn't have an answer for why they didn't do the dog. But
Yeah, that's a shame.
it's a fault.
What judge was that? What judge was that? Can we have the name?
Oh, don't do that.
It was Tom Gold.
I'm joking.
In the
Calm down there.
ADBA, it's a disqualifying fault, though. Okay, go
It's about
ahead,
to go
David.
down, Long.
You got there, Shardy. Oh man, what's that? A Peter? A Peter?
Mhm.
Okay, next question says, can you guys for me, is there really a such thing in the American Bully as the lanky stage, or is that something somebody says when their dog is in between filling out?
It depends. It depends on who you're talking to and whose dog it is, because some people say it's a lanky stage when they
Razor's Edge bred or is it Gaff bred?
when they can't figure out if it's going to bully up or not. They say that.
Yeah. There is a stage, like I tell you, the awkward stage. And that's why we call it the ugly stage or the lanky stage, because it's a stage where the dog it looks tall because it hasn't filled out yet. A lot of times the rear end will grow a lot faster than the front, so the dog looks like it has a high rear, and it ends up leveling out by like a year old by the time the dog grows. So that's what we consider like a lanky stage. But you have people with 2-year-old dogs that are still screaming it's a lanky stage, and their dog just doesn't have breed type. You know, that doesn't have breed type. It's crazy because the same people that make jokes about breed type and stuff like that, they're the ones that have no kind of bulliness to their dogs, and they think their dogs are bullies. Barn, calm down, Barn. Barn, concerning. Oh Lord.
Go ahead, David.
I'll also, let me make this statement right here, because Tony brought up the breed type, and I think there was a judge in the ABKC, a higher echelon judge, that overused that and didn't explain it how it should have been explained. That's why we see a lot of these judges now overpicking breed type. And
Yeah.
Bulldog.
That's what I meant. They think breed type means bulldog. It's not.
It's not.
Breed,
Yeah.
you understand the standard and pick breed type form to function. With that being said, they leave out the form to function, and if you don't have form to function, you still don't have breed type. I don't care what your dog looks like. I don't need you to say correct to me. I know I'm correct.
Wow.
Damn.
Go ahead, David.
Yes.
Okay, this one's directed to Tony, but I guess everybody can answer it. Basically, they want to know, is the gait in the ring really that important if the dog exhibits everything else? Or are you willing to overlook that?
You said the gate. You said
Everything if it doesn't gate properly.
Wait, who's talking?
If it has proper structure, it will gate properly. If it doesn't gate properly, it doesn't have proper structure.
I'm sorry, Tony, that question was directed towards you.
Sorry.
it's all right. I'm just mad that I didn't take a bite of this pita.
You bite of the what?
It's Peter.
No. This pita.
He said a Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, the dog, listen, they pretty much said it. If everything is right, you're talking about everything else being right and being perfect. That's not going to happen because, there's no way that the dog is structurally correct and is right and is, structured correctly in all the right places if the gate is not on.
And you can stack a dog and hide the flaws, but when it gates around the ring, all those flaws that you've hidden come out. So if you have a short forearm, if it's high in the rear, if it's straight in the stifle, if it's whatever, it's going to be there because it's going to move like shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's been 2 times that I decided after watching a judge's show that I asked for my money back and did put my dogs in that. Okay. The reason why was because that judge, I watched him in 3 different classes, and the other judge was a female. I watched them in a couple of classes. They didn't properly watch a dog do their down and back and their go around the ring, their gates. They didn't watch it. So I just asked for my money back because they asked me, why do you not want to show it to the judge? I said, because that judge has no qualifications to judge my animals. If they can't see, if they're not looking at my dog moving around the ring properly, I'm not giving you $20. There's no reason for that. They're looking at a stacked animal, and I can fool you all day long on a piece of crap stacked animal. All day long. And why would I pay $20 for that person's opinion when they don't even know? They have no business judging a dog. They have no reason to be in that ring. They have no reason collecting that money from everybody. It's ridiculous.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay. Our next question says, I've been involved with a few of the bully breeds, but the American bully is the only bully breed I've experienced that dwarfism is actually a positive because everybody's trying to shrink their dogs, shrink their back, shrink their muzzles, shrink everything about the American bully. Isn't that going to eventually lead to a bigger problem that we won't be able to correct in the future?
Yes. And it's not everybody that does it, but yes, you're correct.
Did everybody else hear the question?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, but I think people need to know the difference between pockets and dwarfs, and that's the problem. There's a big difference between a pocket and a dwarf. Like pocket should look like a shrunk down version of a bully. Dwarfs look like they have bigger bodies with the really short legs. The way they move is awkward. The shape of their legs and feet is off, and there's a difference between a pocket and a dwarf.
But you can also
So,
get a pocket too small.
Tone over there eating that beater.
Now Tone's eating the beater? Oh, Tone's dog is eating the beater. I missed that. Hey, what's in your face? What you got in your face? What's in your mouth? I want to see what's in your mouth. Now he's running off. He just ran off. Y'all saw that. He ran off. Spit it out, man. It ain't good for you. Spit it out.
Go ahead, Damien.
Well, we got somebody who says they love Dustin's brutal honesty. We need more of that in the bully breed real quick. And Tony, are you going to answer the question?
Tony can't answer the question. Eating a beater.
Okay, next
What question?
Wow. What'd you just wipe off your face there, Tony? That was mayonnaise, right? That was mayonnaise, right?
Okay. All right.
Mm. Delicious. Delicious. Thank you.
Okay, you don't skip that question, Tony?
I mean, they answered it. I mean, I don't want to repeat what everybody else already said. So.
Okay, cool. Next question is: do you guys believe in any such thing as spoiling your dog? I don't think you could ever show your dog enough love and affection. But people around me said that I literally spoil my dog.
I don't think so. I think as long as there's a balance between you spoiling your dog by having control over your dog and having a balance of discipline, then no, there's nothing wrong with spoiling your dog.
Well, I think you're
Some
wrong.
people go, but that's the beauty of being able to call it your dog. You can do whatever you want with it. If you want to overlove your dog and buy it stupid little clothes and stuff like that, like I do, then go ahead.
But the difference in, I think, what they're saying is you just added something that they're probably not adding. The discipline, the structure, those things.
Yeah.
We do it on a daily basis.
Yeah, sometimes when people say you're spoiling your dog, that's a nice way of saying that I don't like your dog jumping all over me when I come to your house.
Exactly. That's what I want you to think about. That's what I want you to think about.
You can't be the dog's bitch.
That might be what they're trying to tell you, that you need to get a little bit of control of your dog, or I'm not going to come and visit you anymore.
Exactly. You can actually overspoil your dog just like you can your child, your wife, your husband, whomever, or that hot dog that Tony's dealing with over there.
And I've seen it where it turns into super protective over one individual person.
Exactly.
And
because that animal will take ownership over that person.
Yeah.
That's
maybe if your dog is aggressive towards other people when they try to come near you, that might be what it is, and they just don't want to tell you. A lot of people don't like to hurt people's feelings nowadays, but they don't do anything but hurt the person further by not telling them the truth. So maybe they're just trying to tell you that your dog is unruly.
Right.
Go ahead. Wait. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, next is, I know this is going to sound a little bit crazy, but what is considered overangulation, and do the actual rear of the dog play into that, or is it just the overall structure?
Go ahead, Tone. I'm gonna get picked up. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tone.
Well, overangulation, I mean, there's plenty of diagrams. Without really looking at a diagram, it's going to be hard to explain. But it's just where you have too much length in the rear end. Your hocks will sit really far back versus sitting right behind the dog. So, I mean, usually, like, if you have adequate angulation, the front of your toes will sit basically at the base of the tail. That's pretty good angulation. In our breed, I don't think there's no such thing as that overangulation because the breed needs it.
I've seen it, but
well, wait, stop. I might actually argue with Tony on this one, okay? And I've not done that all night long, but I don't care the breed. You can have an overangulated animal. And I know what he's saying. What I think you mean to say, Tony, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that most of these dogs are underangulated. So to put it back into the gene pool, we need to have some dogs that are overangulated to throw it back in there. But
yes,
if just I'm not talking to you, Corey. I'm talking to Tony. But when you see the point of hock, and you can go back to Corey's original diagram of an American Bully. She used Porky as an example. But if you go from the point of hock, which that animal, and I love Ron Ramos, and I love that dog. He's overangulated, okay? When you see that point of hock on that animal that is 10 inches from ground to point of hip, and that point of hock, the point of hip is 2.5 to 3 inches away, that's overangulated.
We got 5 minutes, so we're going to give the short answer.
You can't breed
what Tony means is that
you can't breed an overangulated dog to a straight style dog and get a dog with correct angulation. That's not how genetics works.
This is what Tony meant by how the legs will sit way behind the dog.
It's kind of like a German Shepherd, I mean, you're not going to find that in our breed. So, what I mean is our breed could benefit from a little bit of overangulation because most of the dogs are just so severely screwed up in the rear. I would rather breed an overangulated dog, and I'm not talking about German Shepherd overangulated, but than a straight stifled underangulated dog.
They each
we can take one more question. We're gonna take one more question, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Unless you guys wanna make up the time that y'all was late. But go ahead, Damien.
I think Miss Corey was saying something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive
no,
me.
go ahead.
Forgive me. Forgive me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do y'all want to go to the next question, or are you gonna say something, Miss Corey?
Wait, no, I'm waiting for the doc. The doc got the floor.
I'm good. Go ahead.
You're fired. You're fired. Go ahead, Damien.
Wow.
Okay, next question. Next question is: besides genetics, what are some things you could do or remove kink tails from the genetics of dogs?
That's easy. Don't breed to dogs with kink tail.
But it's not easy because there are you can breed two dogs that don't have kink tails, but if they're both carriers of kink tail, then they'll produce one.
Well, I've never produced a dog with a kink tail, so I don't know.
If it shows up in two dogs that doesn't have kink tails, then that means that somebody bred to a dog with a kink tail, right?
At some point in time. Right.
I'm going to tell you, I've been breeding for years. I've never, ever had a dog with a kink tail ever.
I produced a
That's
short tail.
fantastic.
I bred outside my yard and got a king tail, but that was because the grandfather
I
took.
got 2 king tails. Neither of the dogs that were bred had king tails, and we went, oh well, there it is. So we can't breed those 2 bloodlines together. It happens.
I bred 2 dogs.
Well, you gotta know. You gotta know what's in there. You gotta know what dogs are in there. Most likely there was a dog in there with a king tail.
You do not know every dog that's a carrier of a king tail from generations
Yeah,
down.
that's true.
And we have suspicions of certain dogs in the bloodline that have king tails, had or carried the king tail gene, but until you breed those 2 dogs together, and that's why I'm a huge non-advocate. What's opposite of advocate? Adversary of inbreeding, because you inbreed and you get the magnification of all the negative traits that are in that bloodline. So,
and that's why I'm actually a huge advocate sometimes of inbreeding properly, because you also get some positive traits.
and that's why we don't let him on the show very often, because inbreeding is not necessarily okay.
Most people don't know how to, most people don't know how to inbreed, and it depends. Most people's stock isn't strong enough to inbreed on.
Right, they just inbreeding just to stack the pets, and if you that's why you inbreed, and then you're not helping
the really damn thing. You know what I'm saying?
We don't have enough strength in the breed as a whole to be inbreeding. Because
hey Tori, I inbreed. You and I have had this conversation. My dogs are more inbred than anybody, and you see, I don't have any pink tails. I don't have any undershots. I don't have any skin issues. Nothing.
You know your stock, and you know everything that's in that pedigree.
That's true.
I like that dog. I'm going to breed him, and we're going to have a 12 times whatever dog pedigree.
Right.
That's not okay. That is too much. That is, if you have
homework comes in, Tony, that you've done.
right.
And that I've done, we've had this conversation, but that goes back to what I said earlier in this video. When we put that out there,
I can't hear.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
You got to be very careful, because most of these people, they don't get it.
Right. Justin, I tell everybody, when people ask about inbreeding, I tell them no. I tell everyone not to do it. That's one thing I tell people not to do it. But, on the king tail thing, the king tails are coming, majority of it is coming from the bulldog that was incorporated. So that's why I say you got to know your blood. If you have a line of dogs of several generations that just do not have any king tails, at least 5, you're not going to – I've never seen it. I've been breeding a long time. I've never produced a dog with a king tail.
I'll say that I feel the foundation of the American Bully probably comes from, 20 to 50 dogs. I mean, if we're saying the general popular population, Juan Gotti, and then his protege, and then Razor's Edge and their protege, there are certain dogs in certain lines that everybody knows produces king tails, white ears, and very popular dogs, and at some point, probably a lot of people are going to have 1 or 2 of those dogs in their pedigrees. I will also say this, I do believe that it is bulldog, but not always necessarily. I've seen kinks and nubs in staffy bulls and amstaffs and APBTs with no bully blood at all. At the beginning of the day, pit bull's half bulldog anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go back.
Exactly.
So it's definitely in that facet, but I think that the foundation stock of the breed is such a limited foundation stock that you see it a lot more because a lot of it's so popular, and we're only working with so many dogs from there.
Right. I think the reason why a lot of people inbreed is because that's most of the time what the breeders that they're buying dogs from tell them to do. They tell them, When they buy a female, they run it back to the dad. Just come back, run it back to the dad. And I see everybody says that's. I mean, it kills me. So many people say that when they buy a female, I'm gonna run it back to the dad. Or when they buy a female from me, they want to run it back to the dad. And I tell them, no, why? For what?
Because they're you can double up on that. You can double up.
Yeah, but
just
what? I mean, it's crazy. Like the King Charles Spaniel, what he was saying about what Cayenne was saying about the 40 dogs. That's the same thing that happened with the King Charles Spaniel. And they inbred that dog so much that the brain keeps growing and the skull stops growing, and it causes the dogs to have all kinds of neurological problems and seizures and all of that. And they got to cut the skull open to release the pressure on the brain and all this. That's from inbreeding off of such a small group of dogs. So I think we will end up in that predicament if all these people keep stacking all these pairs. I mean, you got people breeding brothers and sisters to brothers and sisters and mother. Back to the mother and then the father. So, I haven't done any inbreeding yet, and I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. All right, we're going to wrap it up. It's 11:05. Once again, this is the Bully Round Table. Thank everybody for tuning in with us, hanging out with us.
Hey, we got to give away the book.
And we got another question, Damien? Go ahead, Damien.
Yeah, the next one actually is about mange. It says, settle a quick bit for me real quick.
Wait, Damien, stop. Go through all the questions, you guys. The last question, make it a good one. And no offense to anybody, but we want to give away this book, so we want a real good question that is not really common. Mange is common, worms are common, things like that. We want a question that's not really common. Get us thinking, get us going. Get this book out there, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So no offense to anybody's question, but we need a good one, or the best one that you can find.
Right. Not something weird.
Something about gator mouth dogs.
The mange is gonna be the best question.
All right, let's see what the next question was. Let's see, maybe it might be an interesting question.
Okay, basically it says, settle a dispute. Can you really cure mange on your yards with bleach? If not, what are the best treatments for mange?
With what?
Bleach?
Bleach?
You mean on the yard or on the dog?
I've heard this before. It's when you take like a spray bottle of bleach and then you spray your down with the bleach. I've heard of that before, but I don't.
Nah, you don't want to do that for me. For open sores.
They
No
spraying
way.
the dog with bleach?
You're not giving a book to the person of that question. No.
Hey, I gotta hit him with the.
I'm not giving the book to that person.
I gotta hit him with the. What's his name? Bishop Bullwinkle. Hell no.
Yeah, no, yeah.
No.
No.
Hail to the mouth.
Damien, you're lucky I can't come through that screen now and hit you with a
We gonna get
spatula.
who asked the most questions tonight, Damien?
Qualities, bullies.
Let's give them the book.
All right.
'Cause he asked me like 3 questions too.
Awesome.
Sounds good to me.
Quality bullies. Hey, quality bullies. You got a copy of the Doc's book. What is it called, Doc? Go ahead and.
It's called American Bully. What is it? The breed, the legend, the breed, the vision, the legend.
Oh, what?
It was called the American Bully book.
You gotta do better, Doc. You gotta do better. All right, A quality. You won the book.
American Bully. The breed,
Look.
the vision, the legend.
A qualities. You won the book. Hit the Doc up. Hit the Doc up. If you don't know her Facebook, hit one of us up with the Regulator. She'll ship the book out to you. The other people that got the book, they hit me up, but I can't remember off the top who it was. They hit me up and told me they did receive the book, Doc, and they thank you. So, Next week we'll be back on Tuesday. If you're trying to win it, let's come up with another prize. Tom, me and you, we're gonna come up with another prize. Um, Hopefully Doc will come on. We always have fun. Cayenne, I definitely enjoy you every time you come on. No homo. Fabian, Dave. That's like the third time I did that.
Damn, he called you Damien, now.
Yeah, Damien.
Damn, y'all gotta get smacked for that long.
I gotta cut that out. Damien, I appreciate you as always, man. That's messed up. That's messed up. Hold on, I gotta give myself the.
That's bedtime.
Hey, that's what's up. We'll be back Tuesday, man. Always we have fun. If you want to come on, hit me up. I keep saying this. I think everybody's scared, y'all. I don't know why they scared of the round table, but
Because Tony's
mean. Come on. Tell him, Doc, it's fun. Cayenne, come on, tell him. It's fun, man.
You learn a lot. You get different points of view with different people.
It's no wrong points unless you're saying crazy things like you spraying bleach on your dog. Then we can't have you on the round table. But
double bread.
There's no wrong opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. We're gonna talk it out. Maybe we can change your opinion if we feel like you need that. But come on, hang out with us, man. We'll be back. Hopefully. Yeah, A Quality said, can he come on? Absolutely, you can come on. You gotta contribute to the conversation, though. We're gonna eject you from the conversation, and we're gonna stop the shipment of the book. So, no, I'm kidding. That's what's up. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. A Quality, send me on Tuesday. Send me your email to my inbox.
Send the right email.
Yeah, send the right email. Please be on time. The show starts at 9 o'clock. I don't want to be sitting here waiting for nobody. Tony and Doc and Cayenne. You know what's funny?
I got a bad back, yo. I need a backyard.
No, it's no excuse. Because usually the black people are the ones that's late, and it seems like me and Damien are always the ones that's on time. So there's no excuse for you guys being late.
I got an excuse. I got plenty of excuses. I got 101 excuses.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Hey, we still got a couple viewers, man. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us because we always do that. Say we gonna leave and then we don't leave, so y'all smartened up. That's what's up. We out of here. Go ahead, Tony. Want to say anything before we get out of here?
I just want to say everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. It was fun. And see everybody on Tuesday. If anybody has any questions, hit me up. If you want to come on the show, hit Lawrence, myself, or Damien up.
Yo, you know what? Tony, what do you think about next week sometime? We have the ladies of the bully community on.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Dude, it's not that kind of show. Wow.
Yeah. But listen, if you're a female breeder or female in the community, and you got something that you want to come on and contribute to the conversation, all seriousness, the jokes is over. Hit us up, man. I would love to see all of the females on the bottom there and just hear the input because it's starting to grow. I heard Jonathan Rivera say the other day when he left not too long ago and went to school, that it wasn't too many females, in the community, and now that he came back, he sees a lot of females. So if y'all female, you're a breeder, if you know a female breeder, hit her up, tell her, ask if she want to come on the show. I'm gonna hit a couple up, and maybe we can get a couple females to sit around the round table and tell her what the experience has been with the breeding, which I'm sure they have a lot of stories, negative and positive. No bashing, no name mentioning. You can mention situations. I'm sure it'll be funny. So I think let's make that happen, Tom. And Doc, you gotta come on too. For that night, it gotta be ladies' night. So I'm gonna be the only guy here. Tony's gonna take the night off. And
He's like, wait, what?
It's gonna be ladies' night on the bully round table. We're gonna try to figure it out. It might not happen this week because everybody might get busy. But we'll get it together and we'll see if we can make that happen. I got room for 10, but I'm not gonna do 10 because it gets a little crazy. So we'll do like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. So that way It'll be like 3, 6 or 7. It'll be 3 or 4 guests.
Hey, pull out your toes and count that again.
Equality Bullies Party friended me on Facebook. Thank you.
My man. All right, we out of here. Like I said, if you know any female breeders that want to come on the show, hit them up and let them know that we doing ladies' night. So with that, we out of here. Damien, you want to say anything before we leave?
Yeah, we're going to pick up probably the type of page, the questions. We got a couple people who are still confused on how to ask questions, so I'll probably do like
okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll set up a bully roundtable page for the questions for the people that can't figure that out. We got that. That's cool. Cayenne, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
And I appreciate everybody tonight. I enjoyed the conversation. Thank y'all. Doc, I need to get your info. I'd like to get one of them books. So where can I get you? Look y'all up on Facebook.
Damien, send him her Facebook page.
Thank y'all.
Got you, Cayenne. Anybody else interested in the book? Just hit Bully Doc up, hit Damien up, hit Tone up, hit me up, and we'll make sure you get a hold of the Doc and grab a copy of the book. Doc better get on them presses and start printing up some more books. All right, we out of here. We see you guys Tuesday. Bully Roundtable.